What's up, you guys? I'm Tyler, aka Cheesehead300, and today I'm back with yet another theories video. I am super excited about this one. I'm going to be covering SpongeBob SquarePants today, and I'm going to be going over theories for SpongeBob, Patrick, mr.Krabs, Sandy, and Squidward today. Not necessarily in that order. And yeah, I am super excited, like I said, and I cannot wait to jump into it. So let's go ahead and get started. At number one, we have the not so fun-loving Squidward tentacles. Squidward lives in between two of probably the most annoying people on Earth, at least to him. He prefers to spend quiet nights at home and practicing his clarinet, which we all know he needs a lot of. And my theory for him is that he actually represents individuality and being yourself. I didn't really see it much as a kid. I thought Squidward was just, raining on SpongeBob and Patrick's parade and all that stuff. But as I got older, I started looking at it and I was like, he realizes a lot of people in Bikini Bottom, they're kind of the same. They all like to eat at the Krusty Krab. A lot of them go jellyfishing. A lot of the general population fish, they all look the same, for the most part. And I feel like he doesn't feel like he can be his own person, or like he feels like he needs to be his own person, I guess. I think he really discovered that when he moved to Squidville for that short amount of time. At first it was heaven. Everyone thought like him, act like him. Everything was the same. Everything was just the same. Basically living next door to yourself, which would be really creepy. And he started realizing that you can't be an individual when you're part of the crowd, when you're part of just this big collective unit of people that just kind of all think the same. That's not being an individual to him. And he realized that when he moved to Squidville. So I think he realized that living next door to SpongeBob and Patrick still makes him an individual. It makes him stand out. His clarinet playing, his artistic side, all that kind of stuff makes him different, and he kind of realized that makes him special. And so that's why I think he hasn't tried to move away again too. And yeah, that's my theory for Squidward. He stands for what it means to be an individual and staying true to your individual identity. Alright, moving on to number two. At number two, we have SpongeBob SquarePants. What can I say about SpongeBob that you don't already know? SpongeBob is a fun-loving sponge. He does anything and everything he sets his mind to, except for getting that driver's license. But, that's another topic. If he gets an idea in his head, he'll go out and try his best to get it done. He's kind of dorky. He's into his superheroes and into his jellyfishing, and he loves being a fry cook. Basically, he just loves every aspect of life. He's a complete polar opposite from Squidward. But my theory for him is that he actually is friends with Patrick out of pity. Because I believe SpongeBob realizes how dumb Patrick is and can be, and that's not easy to be around all the time. Someone that's that just blatantly stupid and on purpose. The fact that he does it on purpose and doesn't try to, try anything to do anything better with his life, that would get frustrating as a friend, especially a best friend, the person you're the closest to. I think he realizes that without him in his life, Patrick wouldn't really have anyone. His parents' situation is a mess. He lives under a literal rock. He doesn't ever wear a shirt. I don't know what's up with that, but that's, like I said, that's another topic. Now, do I think that they initially were friends? Yeah, I mean, of course. Do I think that as time kind of passed, SpongeBob started seeing that his friend was just not all there as far as intelligence goes? Yeah, I think you can see that. I think SpongeBob's more intelligent than he lets on. I think a lot of his antics come from Patrick anyways. I mean, there's a few things that Patrick has told SpongeBob that's just led SpongeBob down to really stupid paths. Let's not all forget that Wombo thing. But honestly, I think, like, deep down, he does love Patrick. But at the same time, like, if another friend came along, if Squidward, decided, hey, let's actually just be best friends, that, he may not actually hang around Patrick that much anymore. So it's either for lack of better options or he takes pity on him. I'll let you guys kind of decide that. I know that one got a little dark. And alright, let's go ahead and move on to number 3. At number 3, we have Patrick Starr. Now, Patrick, I'm so sorry, I just roasted you hardcore in the last one, but I think this one will kind of redeem it a little bit, at least redeem myself. You're not here to defend yourself, which makes me a piece of crap. No, anyways, my theory for Patrick, is that he actually has abandonment issues. Abandonment/attachment issues. My evidence for this really is just, you can see it in how he acted when he thought his parents were coming to visit, or when his parents were coming to visit, and how hard he tried to impress them when they're hardly a part of his life anyways. I mean, we saw him once, as far as what I've seen of the show, we've seen them once, and that was for a very short amount of time at the end. If you recall that episode, that wasn't even his parents. So it seems like either starfish or naturally just jerks, and like to mess with people, or they all are just kind of stupid in the SpongeBob universe, which could be the case both ways. But I think he definitely has attachment issues. He wants people to accept him. He wants to feel accepted by someone. That's why he's so attached at SpongeBob's hip. Plus, I think SpongeBob makes him feel smarter, and what I mean by that is, Patrick will give SpongeBob advice. SpongeBob usually follows that advice and trusts what he has to say, and not a lot of people usually do. So I think his situation with his parents honestly kind of messed him up, and I don't think he is as dumb as I was trying to make him sound in the last one. I think it's more so he's afraid of being abandoned, because that's what I kind of am thinking his parents did to him. I think they kind of just abandoned him, made him fend for himself, is what it seems like, because like I said before, he lives under a rock, he doesn't dress himself properly, he doesn't really work, so they didn't prepare him for life whatsoever. And so I think that's why he's kind of attached at SpongeBob's hip, like I said, because he's afraid that he's gonna be left alone again. He's afraid he's not gonna impress anyone and stuff like that. So that's my theory for Patrick. Let's move on to number 4. At number 4, we have Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs, the greedy red-shelled crab. I don't know why I said that. He is in love with money. Money. It's always money. He even sold SpongeBob for like 62 cents one time. So, you know, he is addicted to money, and I have a theory as to why. I think he is either in debt to somebody right now, or he was in major debt, which caused him to appreciate money like he does. But I think it's probably the first one. I'm leaning more so. I mean, he has a house that, you know, he probably still has to pay on. He has a daughter he's trying to raise. Granted, he does make a bunch of money from the Krusty Krab, but he also has business expenses he has to pay. He has to buy the Krabby Patty, the ingredients for all that stuff. So all the wholesale stuff that goes into it, plus property tax, business taxes that, you know, obviously they don't cover in cartoons, but he's most likely having to pay. He probably doesn't make as much as he actually lets on. I think he's possibly in debt, which is why he's so addicted to having the money, and so uptight about it and tight-fisted about it, because he feels the pressure of the everyday average, you know, person just trying to get by, and it might make him seem greedy, but he's really just trying to live his best life, which does entail stepping on people's feet sometimes, even your closest employees. But yeah, I think he's in debt to someone. I'm not really sure who. If it's not one person, I feel like it's the mortgage companies, business, you know, all this kind of different stuff that it could possibly be. And that's why I think he's addicted to money like he is. Alright, moving on to number 5. At number 5, last but not least, we have Sandy Cheeks. Sandy, she was always one of my favorite characters growing up. Something about watching her chop SpongeBob and half of the karate chop and stuff like that. It's just always super funny to me. I loved her accent. Her I want to go home back to Texas, or I want to go back to Texas song, iconic. I loved it as a kid. I still love it now. My theory for her, however, is a little dark, and I'm not sure if it's if I came up with this 100% myself. I don't do any research on these. These are just things I'm thinking of and writing down. So if you come across my video and, you know, see something you may have came up with, I'm not trying to take it from you. It's just things I'm thinking of out of my head. So that being said, I think Sandy is actually performing tests and running tests and recording data on the animals she interacts with for science. And I think, you know, she was sent there to probably document the effects the nuclear waste has had. A lot of people have, you know, been talking about how Bikini Bottom is actually that place where all those nuclear things happen, stuff like that. So I think she's there to document, observe, run tests, and then eventually report back to the government to see what the effects have had on the local wildlife. So she'd report back that SpongeBob, you know, he's aerodynamic, he can split his form, he can regrow limbs, they can make fire underwater, and not to mention they can all talk, so, and drive cars and things like that. So it is like a little advanced society down there now, so there's also that. But yeah, I think she was sent there to get close to a few of them, kind of get in with them, and I think, you know, she tests SpongeBob's athletic abilities, right? Surfing, karate, biking, sometimes extreme events before hibernation, she tests Patrick's, you know, his intelligence. She's always with him, kind of studying him, just seeing how he reacts in certain social situations and so on and so forth, you know. So that's my theory for Sandy. I think she's an evil scientist, and I'm not sure what the repercussions of her reporting the data back to the government would be, but I hope they're not bad, because I actually do love Sandy and I don't want her to be a bad guy. But that is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like or something. And thank you for watching, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Alright, see you later. Bye.